Ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, we come to you in this hour, asking for your guidance and protection to our virtual gathering today. We thank you for the gift of life, the gift of family, the gift of work, and the gift of friendship. We thank you for this great opportunity to bring us together in this session as brothers and sisters. Bless the committee, the facilitator, and the attendees of this gathering. May we continue to value and appreciate the true essence and meaning of life with the help of your grace. And as we go along our discussion today, we humbly pray that you would deepen our understanding. Lord, enlighten us and give us wisdom every day. Forgive us for our shortcomings and remind us to always be mindful of the things we do in life. We offer our life and our decisions to you, O Lord. May this gathering today create a memorable experience and a fruitful outcome. We ask this through our Lord Jesus Christ, our Redeemer and our Savior. Amen.
Hi, hello, and good afternoon, everyone. It's finally December, and I think everyone's already excited for the Christmas break and everyone's favorite, holidays, Christmas and the New Year. Good afternoon to the soulmates. I see someone offering their kapeng barako. I've already had my coffee, but any other coffee would be nice. Yeah, for this afternoon, we would like to welcome, of course, our speaker, Dr. Peter C., joining us all the way from, you're in Manila, right, sir? And we just got to know that he's a fellow Bisaya from Surigao who has also spent few years in the university, in Silliman University. We're very thankful that he is here right now and to provide additional knowledge in this deepening session for this week. Of course, we are also joined by Dr. Dave Marshall, who just came in. Hi, Sir Dave. Say hello.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy to see you all.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and give the floor to Dr. Peter C. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just a way of summarizing the concerns, no? And before I go into the questions, let me just bring this up, a way of recapping the concerns from the video presented to you. So this is how we do it. We ask questions, who, what, why, how, and how long. So as to who are you looking for in your data collection, alone, jointly, looking at the purpose and the means of processing the data, what data has been requested. You want to know exactly what is being requested, whether it should be adequate, relevant to the process, and necessary, of course. Why are we making such collection of data? Looking for a purpose. This is the legitimate purpose test. How are you going to process the data? Whether it's by automation, are you going to involve certain algorithms? And finally, how long are you keeping the data? So that's pretty much summarizes. Otherwise, would be would be a lengthy discussion about privacy. So when we started this, just only for 30 minutes, we would discuss privacy for 30 minutes. Then it went on to days, and then now it depends on the audience. Sometimes 1 week, sometimes half a day. Now we're going to do this in less than 1 hour. Of course, in addition to the video the video assigned to you. So let me just get to the questions. I hope I understand you're already seeing the screen from week 11 open forum questions. Can I get thumbs up from our participants all the way to Kalinga? I see Kalinga people. I miss Kalinga. Okay, guys, many of you raised questions relating to Proctorial. I'm going to make a full disclosure that there could be competing interests, because I have founded companies and organizations over the years, and Proctorial is one of the results of one of the services in one of my companies. So I'm not selling anything, so feel free to look around, see who else is offering similar services. So I'm simply sharing with you the experience. Since you brought up Proctorial, it's primarily for purposes of illustration. As I said, I'm not selling anything. So if you are interested to get some hands-on while I'm around, head over to Proctorial .etraining.ph. See if you can test drive the system at this time. So we'll address the questions relating to Proctorial much later, because I want you to look around, just explore. Just a qualifier that not all features are there for demo purposes. It depends on the partner. Right now, our largest partner is the Trust Institute Foundation of the Philippines. It's where it's an organization of all trust officers of banks. You see, if you go to the bank, there's a trust officer where you entrust your money. So and they are going through a stringent process of screening, of training, and Proctorial is their choice to have them train and go through exams during pandemic. And we got the word that they're no longer going back to in-person training, because Metro Manila traffic is just so unreasonable. And we have students from Bacolod, Cebu, many parts of the country who would find it appalling to even consider going to Manila just to get training. So I will address Proctorial as a separate matter, but as you can see, they're all in yellow. So much of I will put this at the end. See, can I get a thumbs up if you're already in? You can log in via Facebook or Google, or just sign in. Can I get a thumbs up for anyone who has already successfully logged in? Oh, I get one. Okay, that's good enough. So maybe two, wherever one or two are gathered in my name, something to that effect. That would be good already. So anyway, I'll go back to the matter of Proctorial at the end. Now, for as long as you're exploring, things like that. Okay, so we'll go to non-yellow questions. Can academic dishonesty be lessened by employing exam integrity? I take this question to mean that integrity as a process, not just an exam, because I see an exam as a validation of sorts. It's not the end goal. You don't go to schools to be able to take exams. You go to schools to learn. so that the integrity part should not just be in the exam. It's the whole process of education. So integrity, exam rather, is just a minor part of it. As a matter of fact, if you are overemphasizing exam, in my personal opinion as an educator myself, that's a rather desperate move to make students learn. No? So it's really an end of the process. So academic dishonesty can have many forms, no, in quizzes or even in recitation or misrepresentation or some other academic activities that are really diverse. So exam is just part. Nonetheless, it's an essential part. And for instance, I already mentioned to you, bank people, they're old-fashioned, and I will demonstrate to you later on maybe that they do not want algorithms to decide for them. So they really want to see the student taking the exam. No? So and so that entails cost, because you will have to record the video of the exam of the student taking the exam. No? And if you are unable to review the video, at least for one of the partners, that can take really long, because video means high rate of read and write. No, you don't want video to be placed in a storage that is slow with read and write. No, so that means cost. No, so shout out to administrators in the audience that if you're thinking about this, this has cost implications. But I will show you also that it doesn't have to be expensive. If you have a good team of coders, you can do this yourself. No, and there's no sense of volleying that over to us. No, it really depends, no, on your comfort level. All right. So I hope that answers question number 2. And if you have follow-up questions, please do so in the chat. I'd like to ask the team, the facilitators, to please monitor the chat. I may miss them. I'll be apologizing in advance if I miss anything. So moving on. Question number 3, what ethical concerns regarding data have you encountered during the last year and the school year's online classes? Well, in general, I think some of my students are faking it. They are they're capitalizing on the pandemic, because in some other circumstances, when I do check on their line, on their connectivity, they're not really that bad. But sometimes they fake bad connection. I think that's I'm not sure if that's a white lie. So that is a concern. As for the exams themselves, personally, if this is about my personal experience as a teacher myself, I structure the entire semester so that I don't have to give an exam. So my exam is only a validation of sorts. I have a process that would rely on peer evaluation. I have a process that encourages collaboration. So for my pedagogy, just so to put a better context to what I've been saying here, you may check out this, and there's a section on notes on my pedagogy. I would, for instance, rely on a little bit of math in terms of fair evaluation, because students could be scratching each other's back. No, so these links in the chat I'm giving you. So look at my pedagogy for greater detail. And the split it is really about, I'm not sure if it's a .com or .org. I will verify that now. Let me check, because I'm so used to org. And there's a credit section there. It's a .org. Split it. Are you able to see it? Can I get a thumbs up? And there's a credit section, and the math informing split it is rather robust, no? But let me just warn you, this is just a project of teachers, and so the site is not well maintained. No, it's not able to get so much traffic, but you get the idea. No, you can code it yourself, and the idea is there's math to fairness. So even as I do collaboration, as I do peer review, I make sure that it is in line with my pedagogy, and that there's a robust way of evaluating performance. No, so those concerns. No, so I'm not big on exam myself, but if I do big exam, I can double down on integrity, as I will show you with Proctorial later on. No, so I don't have to. The point being, I don't have to give them exams. No, because there are other measures that do not tempt the students to cheat. So that's the bottom line. So question number 4, I have answered at least the major concerns under question number 3. Question number 4. Oh, by the way, you don't have to be so formal. I'm used to informal arrangements. So if there are related questions to the questions already posted, feel free to jump in, guys. No, we're colleagues here, and I want you to feel comfortable with me and with the platform. You've been together already for how long already, Sir Dave?
11 weeks. Today
11
is
weeks.
the
So by
11th
now,
Saturday.
yeah, you could be making friends already. I'm especially interested in Kalinga and Tawi-Tawi Basilan because I'm going there. So shout out. No, I'm already shamelessly promoting my interest, no, in possible collaboration. So I also do training with UST. So some of you might have bumped already into each other. We might have bumped into each other already. So let's be informal. All right. So that's for question 3. Now for question 4, why is privacy important? Data privacy explained in the video. For many respects, number 1 is the law. You could become criminal without realizing it, because the privacy law criminalizes illegal processing or unwarranted processing of personal information. So it's not just as if there are no consequences. No, so not to scare you, but there is this wrongful processing that would merit both civil and criminal liabilities. So if there are lawyers in the audience, I need not oversell this to you, but for those who are not conscious of their legal obligations, as lawyers would keep on telling us, ignorance of the law excuses no one. So I think, and there are all sorts of other reasons. Now that could be on the stick side. The carrot side, the reward side, is that trust is given to you as a result of observance of privacy, and trust can lower the cost of transaction. And the economists in the audience could support this, that in high trust societies, transactions are rather minimal, are efficient. No, are efficient. Just to give you a cautionary tale, the person and the team that verified my second dose of vaccine, I hope you guys are vaccinated already. The team that vaccinated consisted of 7 people verifying a form. And they have laptops in front of them, and they were looking at my form and verifying and encoding 7 of them. So I think we are not necessarily in a high trust society. We are a low trust society because of all sorts of safeguards we put in. So imagine hiring 7 people to verify whether my vaccination was accurate, things are in place. So that's a very expensive exercise. So there are also good, as I said, upside to to privacy, not just punishment. All right. So question number 5. Students nowadays can do and will do everything that they want. If they want to cheat, they probably will. May I know some of your suggestions on how to increase test security? Now, the first part of the questions could be a lot of assumptions to unpack, and the idea really is you don't want the students to be in a positions that they are incentivized to cheat. There's a book on books on cheating, on why people cheat, and I will just write this, and you can look this up. This is a really fun book by Ariely. You can understand the psychology of cheating. So it's really on you to not incentivize students to cheat. No, so there's a particular book would be by Ariely, would be How and Why We Cheat. No, so something to that effect. No, because he has many other work. No, so why people lie about this, about lying, these things. No, so just check it out, because I think that goes down the rabbit hole explaining why we shouldn't put our students in a situation where they are forced to cheat. No? Now, the second part of the question is, may I know some of your suggestions to increase test security? The Proctorial uses so-called safe exam browser. And towards the end of the video that is was shared with you, there's this multifaceted approach that I shared, that is not just the technical side that you will approach, that will use technical tools that you will use when you address cheating. There's administrative, there's methodological, all sorts, and I urge you to review the video, explain there. But on the technical side, universities have been employing safe exam browser. There's an exam lockdown, and the students cannot go Google, no, cannot print, cannot have another screen, and so on. And you couple that with a surveillance mechanism, say a video of the student facing the camera. And if you ask the student to stay behind a full body mirror, then you can see the reflection, the screen, no? And then you can also track movement if you are computationally savvy of students, and if you would veer away from the screen, and this measure. So there are technical solutions to otherwise a situation that is tempting, right for cheating. So and there are many more. And towards the end of our discussion, maybe I can show you how it's done. No? Again, I'm not selling a product. Feel free to look around. I'm simply sharing an experience with us, because it's been 2 years in the pandemic, and initially people were skeptical that we could pull it off. As you can see, in some other approach, they use 2 cam setup, front and back, but I think that's very expensive, and bandwidth wise, that may not be sustainable, or that may be hard to sustain, and there could be problems as well in the recording. Because, by the way, in our approach, I'm hesitant to call students cheaters or plagiarists. No, so what I would advise in my consulting work, I will tell student partners that you just call them out for violations of rules. No, so why are you invalidating the exam? Because he violated rule 1, 2, 3, 4, as opposed to you jump to conclusion that he was plagiarizing or she was cheating. There's quite a gap between violation of rules and actual cheating. Cheating can entail intent, and intent, it's hard to establish. No, so you might as well disqualify or invalidate their exams on the basis of rule violation rather than a judgment, a value judgment that students are cheaters. Because who knows, these students may turn out to be congressmen, no? And they knew fully well that they are already cheaters in college or elementary, and they occupy high positions. So you want to tone down on the judgy part. All right. So that's for question number 5. Any follow up? Kung wala, we'll move on to 8, and then I'll circle back to the yellow ones. Any suggestions for some ways to secure exams or quizzes for the students? I have made the suggestions, and maybe we can elaborate on this some more later. You can check out for now, and I usually encourage my students to multitask even as I lecture, and I incentivize them to fact check me. I give out points to my students who can point out that I have made incorrect statements, and even more points if I get caught making a wrong logical, making an illogical argument. No, so I encourage my students to fact check me. So please look out for Safe Exam browser, no, and you get the details as to how you're going to secure the exam or quiz. Later on, I'll walk you through some of the other measures we put in place. No, what procedures are in place to protect student privacy while providing students with learning opportunities? This is a very good question, because it suggests balance. No, on the one hand, we want to be objective and get data that's going to drive our decision making. That's going to inform us how to evaluate students. On the other hand, it's cognizant of the prospect of privacy violation, privacy breach. No? So it's going to be a balancing act. No? So in the presentation, I explained the principle of proportionality. We only get data necessary or sufficient to carry out a mission, to fulfill a purpose. No? And for greater details on purpose, I will suggest a further reading. So you can check that out. There's a rule, there's a test of legitimacy of purpose that you can read through. No? So I'll probably post a little bit, because I gave too many links already. And those links could lead to, as I said, really, really deep down the rabbit hole. While I'll pick up some water, no? And also for you to think of questions.
I think they're already very deep down the rabbit hole right now.
Yeah.
Just want to make a comment on the students becoming congressmen. Start them young.
Yes. I have already a few students who are already in Congress, so that's how old I am. So, well, that's life. So, question number 10. Legal answer. Okay. So, should teachers be allowed to post photos of their students on their personal social media accounts, particularly those of minors? Minors should be of high concern. Personally, I would, and even in my interpretation of the law, this is not warranted, no? Unless you really ask permissions from adults. If minors, you have to ask permission from students. Just to give you how extreme this can be, in the French law, it's possible for future children to sue their parents for posting unwarranted or unwanted pictures while they are minors or babies or what, no? You probably have heard of the recent case of Nirvana. Although this is not French, this is US. But you get the idea, the drift, that children shouldn't be exposed to public scrutiny, to the public eye, until they are in a position to decide for themselves. This might seem innocuous and commonplace, but shouldn't we ask parents and consent for this? Yes, amen to this. No, even if it's done in good faith, such or during school, or when we want to praise students. No, so yeah, that is really a good measure. No, our university is getting more strict with this. No, our university is doubling down on privacy. We have our privacy protection officer, data protection officer, and I hope you guys already have in your schools. No, so that's for number one. Number two, can administrators require their teachers and staff to communicate with them through social media? This is a gray area, because if you're friends with administrators anyway, they will message you. Sir Dave and I will message to social media, even if Ma'am Joy would communicate officially, because there's a problem of attention. No? Even as I really mean to answer Sir Dave, all this time I thought that I have already answered him. Yung pala nangyari, I just thought na mamaya na siguro unahin ko muna to. And then mamaya naging bukas, naging 2 weeks and so on. And then you ended up not answering Sir Dave. So, and you feel guilty. I would say that this is a gray area, but I would also say that you have the right. You have the right to refuse. No, answer them. Official channels you cannot refuse, because that's part of your job. But social media, unless the school has a social media policy that supports communication via Messenger, WhatsApp, or so on, you cannot be forced to do that. No, just to give you an idea, maybe the communications would go off school hours, and this is really your private time. Just to give you an idea, France, a boss could be penalized, could be fined heavily if he would email his staff beyond office hours. So that's gonna come way much later to the Philippines, but just to give you an idea how much personal space people are trying to protect. No, so that one. We've been required to join private Facebook group faculty where memos are posted. Seeing them constitute to agreeing them. I do not subscribe to this practice and prefer official email instead, and to the cost of being seen as a pariah. I sympathize with you. There are probably techniques out there, and I have yet to delve to take a deep dive on the possible technical solution to this, because even my students would friend me and accidentally would friend a student, and they would message you about a class. I don't want my students to be messaging me via Facebook. I'm on Facebook, but I'm hiding all the time. So in this case, you can no longer hide, because it's your boss requiring you to be seen. If this is a state university, this is probably a civil service case. So I said possibly, no, unless the school really has a social media policy, and understand the feeling of being a pariah, because I am very protective of my privacy. So in this case, seen, you look for technical solutions where you can read the message and not still be seen as seen. No? So I'm giving you a tip. Okay, so there's probably a way of doing that. I think so. Getting around Mark Zuckerberg's, no? So Facebook pulls us in, but it should be a choice, no? But for official channels, but I can understand administrator also, having been an administrator once, no? you would want to over communicate certain points, and Facebook is very convenient kasi for some others who are faking connectivity issues, Facebook is free, Messenger at least, no? I'm not advertising Messenger. It's for me, privacy wise, it's very insecure because I don't think it's really end-to-end encryption, and I don't trust Facebook for that matter, even if I have an original account of Facebook. This is way back when, no? Yeah. So number 3, I hope that answers that addresses your concern. No, I sympathize with you, and possibly, hope that you are able to find technical solutions to get past your boss. No, if your boss is in this call, hi sir or ma'am, let's have a conversation. Number 2, I'm not necessarily against you, and we'll find a common ground where you can communicate with your staff, with your teachers, but at the same time respect their privacy. Because as I said, this is always a balancing exercise. No? Number 3, can students refuse their professors who require them to post their school's output on social media? This one I really frown upon, no? Because social media, and let me just suggest to you the extent that this could go wrong. I have a compilation of cases. And one of those cases there has to do with social media. No, check out if it's something that concerns you as well. No, so yeah, this can the students refuse? I think so. What I do, just to give you an example of how I do it, I have we have an LMS, but sometimes the volume is just too much, and so we have a fallback channel, no, on Discord. No? But that is really just fallback. I don't communicate. I haven't used it in this semester because it seems that our LMS has been working just fine now, but it's really just fallback. No, it's extreme circumstances because Discord is more laid back and very low bandwidth in terms of requirement and so on. So I sometimes post there, notices when way back when internet in the Philippines, at least in Metro Manila, was really terrible. So when we started, I think the video was done during that time. Internet was really spotty and these things, no. But now our internet has gone better, at least in my end. No, I'm not sure in the provinces. No, so we're done with question 10 and sub questions 1 to 3. Question 11: can a teacher be considered the person information controller in the classroom or via Google Classroom? What are some of the potential privacy concerns that may develop and should be considered in his and her liabilities? What particular role or responsibility should the instructor consider while handling the processing of students' information, activities, or outputs? Now, first part of the question, whether the teacher is an information controller. Yes. No? In your own domain, it is a controller, or you are a controller if you're a teacher. But as a controller myself, I'd rather not be a controller. I'd rather just be following orders from the chief controller, whoever that is, maybe the school. And so if you go wrong and you use a platform that is not school sanctioned, there is an implicit assumption that you are very much a controller. Because you can make a case that, for instance, Soul is a platform for processing of information on behalf of the school to be able to carry out your function. And it's really the president who is the controller at the end of the day. And you are her minion. So I would want that kind of arrangement, at least for my peace of mind. We have a rather dramatic case where the teacher was unable to control It's a prominent school, and I won't mention which prominent school is this. Really top of the country. It's a private school, and the student made an assignment a journal assignment, and an essay rather plus journal. Submitted it to a publication platform. I think it was Academia or something, Edu, and then it tells about the story of how her father abandoned her and her family and his family. No, the father abandoning, and then there was a mention of a specific individual, a paramour of the father. So it's a serious allegation, and so the paramour later on found out, maybe Googled herself, found out that her name is in the publication of that man's daughter, no? And so she dialed the school and say, "What's going on? My name is there. I'm not in any way related to that man. This child, this kid, college kid, alleges that I'm the paramour." So it created a lot of sensation in the school, no? Imagine the president being called and your student, made this journal saying, sharing rather very intimate details, no? So that's a serious consideration. So that's one extreme case relating to 11. But in Google Classroom, perhaps you have relative safety, but I'm not sure if it's really well maintained. I'm not. I'm partial to the things I can control, and I have less control on Google Classroom. Although some of our colleagues find it more user friendly than other LMS. No, so you can probably check out a piece I've read, and again, fair warning. Could have been biased. There's a discussion there on LMS versus Google Classroom. Now, if you're in the position to discuss this, no, or to consider these things, no. So potential privacy concerns. I've mentioned one extreme. Responsibility is really about controlling information processing and at the same time preventing breach, no. Now, there is a legal requirement for the breach. It's reporting of breach would be 72 hours upon knowledge of the breach. No? So you are required to report to the National Privacy Commission that there is such a breach. No? So please consider that. No? Is provided data privacy manual for online assessment help to impose integrity and honesty during exam? Yes. If it's done correctly. Students are too creative and collaborative in doing online cheating, not only in examinations and also requirements. So I would say to my colleagues in this call, if the students are creative, we teachers are also creative. Should be even more creative. So in giving evaluation, we cannot be outdone by their creativity. We are also creative in assessing them. So if they think they're good, we should show them that we are better, no? At least in terms of creativity. No? So that's my rather offhanded way of answering 12. Now 13. The challenge in conducting assessment during pandemic and the evidence that majority of the students have a separate group chats with their classmates where they collaborate and share their answers during quizzes, and it is then our task to educator to at least lessen their practice habit of students, no, in habits of students in line with the prior statement. Are we violating some privacy rights if we are going to instruct the students to record their screens while having assessment? The Safe Exam browser can address that, no? Because it locks down the exam. You only have one screen and you cannot go anywhere else. So that's the technical solution. There is an implicit bias against collaboration on for question number 13. and I share with you why is this important with me, no? So I've been around for quite some time, obviously, and I bridge the gap between industry and university. And believe you me, there's a huge gap between what we teach in school and what is really needed in the industry. What is required of the industry are not just individual Superman skills, but also collaborative skills. So rather than look down on collaboration as a bad thing, it can be highlighted as a good thing. Because in a modern, complex, sophisticated workplace, collaboration is the default. So if you develop a system from ground up, at least in the system we're developing right now, there's just too many people involved. Now you cannot just rely on separate individual talents. You would want them to work seamlessly. No? The coding part, the illustration part, the UI, the UX part. Oh, by the way, I've been assuming too much. May I know the disciplines here? Can you type in the disciplines in this call, please? Can I get a chat of the disciplines you're from?
Yeah, just to inform you ahead, Dr. C, it's very diverse.
Just so I can give, okay, CS, agriculture, bio, chemistry, language communication, information tech, yeah, social science, language, yeah, okay, education. Com dev, industrial design, IT, theology, psychology, language. Okay, thank you very much. So on casual look, upon casual inspection, these disciplines, majority of this really would require collaboration. No? Even if you're in physics, medicine, you cannot cure the patient with just you doing solo. No, it's a team. You're the captain of the ship. If you're doing medicine, you're the doctor, but you will be needing nurse, you will be needing PT, you will be needing med tech, and so on. And so you would want this to be working in concert. No, so that's the important consideration. So how do we do that? We have to revisit our pedagogy so that it depends on your instructional design, whether you are going to emphasize collaboration more or individual talent more, 70-30, 50-50, whatever, no? But you have to have some space for collaboration, because collaboration cannot just be assumed, no? It's not automatic that if you have a really talented individual and you put them in a workplace, it will work. It may not work because they're not so used to collaboration. Problem-based learning. So if I do problem-based learning, it's usually about collaboration. And you still have cases, even in my school, you still have cases of people dropping out. And I would just tell them right from the get-go that you are not meant to survive. If you just want to do this solo, you may be talented, you may be genius, but I tell you what, the days of the geniuses, no, individual geniuses are numbered. You really have to work with people, no? So criminology, of course, you need to have a team, no? I sometimes do consulting for PNP, and that's one of the things I emphasize. So time check 2:45. Let me just go over this quickly. The interest of the Proctorial people. So you have been to Proctorial already. So you log in and then go in demo. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so that's it. And then so this is probably admin. And then you go to the demo part, click on access. Once you're in there, you have something like this, no? Something similar. So this is the screen of, we had an exam this morning. So December 4, you have an exam flow moving from one exam to another. It's an exam set. I hope you're seeing this on screen. So set A, set B, all the way to set F. You have download config file. You will use this particular safe exam browser. You validate your ID so that we make sure that it's really you. So your profile pic will be compared with your actual cam pic. So if the person taking the exam will not match with the profile pic that is already vetted by the administration or by the staff, you won't be allowed to go in. You answer questions, you submit 40 minutes and so on, blah, 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 all the way to 20 minutes. So, but before that, you will have to go through the hoops of really understanding what's going on, no? So you have a privacy notice, very important. It's important that we explain to them why we are getting their information and how invasive we're trying to get, no? There are exam rules, as I said. You should be going for violation of exams rather than being too judgmental and say you're a cheater. And then there's an honor code. Now, if you've read the Ariely, honor code is not just about being ritualistic about this, no? So in Ariely's work, in Ariely's research, if you make people swear by the Bible, they don't even have to believe in Jesus or to believe in God, no, to be able to do well. It turned out that allowing them or asking them to honor a particular code diminishes their will to cheat. Okay, this is just science, no? So it's not just a ritual when you make people swear by an honor code. So this is the honor code. We ask them to observe. It's important to make them own. So you attempt all on my own. So this is me now, no? So if you go to Oxford, this is probably you in the middle of a gymnasium wearing toga while taking exam, no? Because it's that part of the ritual that diminishes your resolve to cheat, no? So there's science informing that. There's also the correct cam framing. So you can put in a mirror at the back, no strong light, gaze is on screen. So if you gaze the other way or up, wherever, too long, the system should be able to flag you. No? Shoulder should be exposed because you can see the movements of the shoulder. No? So that's how it's being done. And then you have the exam. This is the usual. If you're using Moodle, you're already familiar with this. So let me show you now some examples, no, of how we and if I'm, by the way, if I'm able to expose some names, please don't screen cap. It's private, so I will just do this with something from my staff. I asked permission from her. So this is her entire video taking. The videos are taken whenever you move your questions. No, so you have snippets, so you can quickly locate where she is. No, in the part of the exam where she cheated. Okay, so this one actually taking the exam. So she already violated the shoulder row rule. Do you see that? So I will disqualify her if I'm suspicious of her performance in the exam. Will say, I'm sorry, I will invalidate your exam because you violated rule number whatever. No? So another one. Are you seeing this? The video? Can I get a thumbs up?
No, we did not see a video.
Okay, sorry. Let me share that again. So this is the first video from my dashboard. I'll play it. So she's taking this in the quarantine facility. No? So she's taking the exam in quarantine facility. For me, this is according to the rules of the trust people, monk people, this is a violation because she's eating while taking exam. It's also a violation because she's not exposing her other shoulder completely. This one is also a violation because no shoulders are exposed. No? So, and there are more examples, no, depending on the rules you have. No? So it's very invasive, and old people in the academic affairs can be confident that, oh, this is okay. You really see the student taking the exam, and it's the same student. No, and there's no way, because you cannot go to the restroom while taking the exam. That's why you have breaks. And there's no headset, and so on. And then if you put a mirror at the back, if you ask them to put a full body mirror, you even have a greater chance of catching them. No? So I will stop there. Time check 2:53. But I have, as you've seen, I've consumed all the time already. So do you have because I can go on and on, and that's bad, no, for conversation. We have to have conversation. Any questions?
Yeah,
More questions rather.
Yeah, I'll entertain that one question asking about the Safe Exam browser, if it can be applicable. I think that was the question. Applicable to mobile phones, or if it works in mobile phones.
I think they're developing a mobile phone equivalent now, or a one for mobile platform.
The exact question was, is Safe Exam browser possible? Yeah, okay. So I think we got the question correctly. Yeah. There's also another question, only with open camera. Yeah. So they're asking if this would be there would be a detection if using open camera.
What do you mean open camera?
I think they really would want to know that the camera is running.
Yeah, it's running because you will have to ask them to set up ahead of the exam.
Yeah.
There's a practice test, and you will flag people who with wrong setup with cameras that are not working.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually, it's very interesting. There's a lot that we were able to get from what you just said, and that's very true. That we're down the rabbit hole, and there's a lot that you can obtain when you start to talk about data privacy. No. And I'd like also to entertain if there are questions, even if you're just going to post it on the chat. I have to be honest, as I was very impressed with even with what was shown, especially with regards to the video. We could see what are some violations, and these are all very relevant during these days. Yeah. Okay. So, in the spirit of our time, I'd like to give a very warm thanks to Dr. Peter C. It was very enlightening. And then, of course, as of this moment, I'd like to call on Sir Dave for an opportunity to share his insights. Yeah, go ahead, Sir Dave.
First of all, thank you to Dr. Petersi. He's actually my teacher also in the master class of data privacy, and I learned so much from him in terms of data privacy, but really more into the research methods involving human participants. For today's or for this afternoon's live session, there are three major things that I think we got. Four actually: academic integrity, dishonesty, cheating, and etc. comes with different forms and in terms of solutions. There could be technical. Yes, there are safe exam browsers. There are Proctorial and so on and so forth. There is also a so-called methodological, process-oriented, and administrative policies, data privacy rules, guidelines, and even classroom data privacy, which is basically anchored on institutional data privacy and integrity. But I think being an educator, me myself being in the IT and at the same time research on e-learning in general, I would highly emphasize more into the pedagogical approach. Our speaker, Dr. C, mentioned about mentioned about which really strike me most, that academic integrity is not just about during exam, and I think this is proven in my class, no. What Jonathan actually was mentioning is I have my own share of story also in terms of cheating, academic dishonesty in the class, because during the pandemic, in during the online learning, COVID time, I have several students really emailed to me and tell the truth that they cheated and they apologized me out of nowhere, because maybe because I tried to combine technical, methodological, administrative, and give more emphasis on pedagogical. Dr. C also mentioned about we have to recalibrate our assessment mind setting in such a way that students will not cheat. And I like also the idea that the comment, students are very creative in terms of cheating, then let's be creative also. And so with if the students collaborate each other during assessment, then let's make our assessment collaborative, right? I think you will share the same message, because it's really wonderful if you will go to that kind of thinking, because data privacy, academic dishonesty is really a never ending process, a never ending argument, and it's a heavy topic. But if we will do things, being a pedagogist, being a strategist in our own classroom, I think we can make this lighter and focus more into the pedagogy and recalibration of our assessment. Um, um, there are If you have Moodle, actually you don't need to purchase super sophisticated and expensive tool. You can actually incorporate safe exam browser into your Moodle. There is also method process, like in my class I do that. I have PLD, personalized learning designer, that when students open another thing, I will give message to them, you violated my class. How come that you open an ebook during the exam, things like those. No, why I read actually a lot about Airely. I suggest also you read that also, so that your mind will be opened how students cheat online. No, it's a wonderful topic to research, and for us also teachers, especially we are going towards limited face to face, and it's a preparation also for us. No, and and in terms of the data privacy, I think the common denominator, or the first thing that we should do in terms of both ethical and the legal aspects into it, is go back to the institutional policies and guidelines, whether there is a need to have a Facebook, whether there is a need to join in a messenger, and so on and so forth. All these things up should be anchored on whatever printed, whatever accepted, and whatever institutionalized in the institution. I also suggest to have our own classroom policies and guidelines in relation to data privacy and integrity in general. Thank you very much, Dr. C. And of course, I'd like to thank all the participants. 11 weeks is no joke having this, and I hope we ended the discussion with a very good preparation for us to rethink, to encapsulate everything that um, the main responsibility for whatever things we are doing in the class is really boils down to the teacher in terms of pedagogy, recalibration, changing the mindset, and so on and so forth. Once again, thank you very much. Back to you, Sir Te.
Thank you. Don't forget about the honor code. I really like that. That actually made me laugh, and then it related. It made me remember your strategies, or Dave. But and I saw it firsthand, especially in this our 11 weeks, and it's really something that you still get to learn something new. Uh, Even if we're doing this for 2 years, the online learning, and of course, we always get to get something new. All these experiences, no. So yes, thank you very much, Dr. C. Thank you also, Dr. Dave, for providing your insights. So yes, go ahead, Ma'am Lobel. And then, yeah, allow me to provide the links to the reminders. And hopefully that you were able to capture the links that were given by our speaker, because I know that you would be diving down that deep hole. Yes, there's really a lot. You would be surprised on how much information that you would be able to get, and of course how much that you would be able to learn. Yeah, so I already provided the attendance link, and please go ahead and accomplish that. And yes, we would like to present this certificate to Dr. Peter C. Notice, Dr. C, that VPA there is your almost batchmate, Dr. Erjud Cleope. Yeah, they're only a year. They only have a 1 year gap, Sir Dave. Okay, it's our thanks to you for enlightening us, providing us with more learning for the afternoon. Yes, and next, and yeah, don't forget our knowledge check. And yeah, you already see the Dr. Dave method there on how it tries to discourage cheating. And please continue to share in the forum. And then next, Ma'am Lubel. Yes, I'll allow me to share the evaluation link on the chat so that you can just click on it. And, okay, it's on its way. So yes, please do take the time to provide the evaluation. And then next, Ma'am Lobel. And yeah, final week reminder. You have your final exam, and then the final exercise is due on Friday, and that's December 10 at 2 p.m. So please take note of that. And of course, we will have our closing program next week, also here, 2 p.m. Still observing our time, no? Okay. And then I will turn this over to Ma'am Lobel. Of course, asking for your consent to turn on your cameras. Already applying what I have learned from Dr. C. Okay, go ahead, Ma'am Lobel.
Okay. I have here 5 pages. We'll start with the first one. Kindly hold your smile. Pretty smile. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. Next. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We'll go now to the third. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Next page. 1, 2, 3. And we'll go to the last page. 1, 2, 3, and Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma'am Lubel. And again, I'd like to thank Dr. C. It's very nice to meet you. Also like to thank Dr. Dave. And yeah, we hope to see you next week. All right. So stay safe. Always stay safe. And then go ahead, Ma'am Lubel. And thank you for joining us, giving us your time. Okay. Shout out sa mga Bohol friends. Sa friends ni Ma'am Mitch. Oh. Hopefully mga Koreans man daw kuno sila karon. See you next week. See you